Geeta, about this diaspora effect. Prime Minister Modi has spent a considerable amount of time, we've seen in the past, in the United States. It's interesting, Meera, Shankar, that, there is a photograph that I saw this afternoon. Prime Minister Modi as a BJP leader in the mid-1990s, in his short sleeve kurta, along with a few others, a jhola before the White House in the mid-1990s. He's had a long love affair, in a way, with the United States. Do you believe that the United States has taken to Prime Minister Modi as much as the Indian diaspora? Or is the United States still, in your view, what does Prime Minister Modi, according to you, need to do to make sure that he is seen as a leader of Churchillian, to use the word Amitabh, but to use almost like a Churchillian visit?
Well, firstly, I think that the United States has certainly decided that its strategic partnership with India is going to be one of the defining partnerships of the 21st century and critical for shaping a better balance in Asia in the face of China's increasingly aggressive behavior in the maritime domain and on land with its neighbors and over Taiwan. So it's a decision which has now enabled the two countries to move to a higher degree of technology sharing, to looking at critical and emerging technology
I take that, but the Prime Minister himself, you've seen various Prime Ministers over the years. When you were US Ambassador,
yes,
you've seen Indian Prime Ministers.
I would say that for the diaspora, Prime Minister Modi is a highly popular leader, and and within the US, he is seen as someone who's a strong leader in India and can deliver, and obviously someone with whom the US can do business. There have also been concerns about some of his policies, but I think the priority is to build the strategic relationship in the context of China, and these other concerns have certainly been given lower salience and handled somewhat tactfully and very delicately by the Biden administration, which has chosen not to talk about issues where there may be concerns about India's domestic policies in public.
That's interesting, because this is a Democratic administration. In the past, the Democrats have been the ones to raise, for example, human rights concerns. Michael Kugelman, how does America see Prime Minister Modi? Do they see him in the same euphoric terms as the Indian diaspora does? Or is he simply seen as a strong leader who America can do business with?
Well, I think opinion is very nuanced here. I don't want to suggest that U.S. opinion toward Modi is monolithic. Certainly, official views from the U.S. government and, I think the broader strategic and foreign policy elite in Washington are certainly concerned to an extent about some of the policies that Modi has carried out at home, but on the whole, very supportive of Modi in the context of working with him and others in India to strengthen partnership with India. But when it comes to broader public opinion, well, here I think the issue of soft power looms large. That I would argue that many Americans, in part because of the impact of the diaspora here, have a positive view of India. That may have changed a bit to an extent, particularly over the last few years, as we've seen more media coverage that's been highlighting the democratic backsliding and concerns about rights. But I think on the whole that public opinion is generally speaking positive, and again that does come down to the diaspora effect. But I think it's very important to distinguish between official views in the government and the views of the broader American people. And I should say also there are plenty of Americans that aren't really that inclined to take a strong interest in foreign policy just because they don't have to, and may not really have much of any sort of strong opinion at all about India or Prime Minister Modi or his visit. And I should also say, finally, that Indeed, Geeta Mohan had been highlighting the excitement and the euphoria from the diaspora about Modi's visit, but certainly there are some Indian Americans that don't feel that way about him. Certainly, survey research shows that there's a lot of support for Modi within the diaspora, but you also have those that aren't inclined to support him.
Right.
And there will be protests, I should say, against Modi when he is here, and some of the participants in those protests will be diaspora members. So I think it is important to provide the full picture.